Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today I've got the brand new N2 unit in from INNOVV. This is another CarPlay Android Auto touchscreen dash for your motorcycle. Plus it has 2 dash cams and the new GPS module. We're gonna unbox it all real quick, go through all its features, throw it on the bike, go through all its settings, let you know what I think about its performance. Then we're gonna take it out on the road, stick it in the hot Florida sun, and see how it actually performs. And don't forget, all the comparisons between all the devices that I've reviewed, and it's a couple dozen at this point, boy, that is a tight box, are up on twowheelobsession.com, where you can view all the different features, prices, and subjective findings. Okay, give me a minute. Oh, it's taped. Didn't even notice. All right, first up, product sheet. Then we have a mouse mat-like protective foam sheet. That's really nice. Never seen that in a package before. And the unit itself. And it looks like there's probably a shipping screen on it. I see a little blop here on the corner. I hope it's a shipping screen. It's either that or damage. It doesn't feel like it though. Feels like glass. Nope, there we go. It's just extra thick. Just know that it's there. There's no tab to let you know, but definitely take it off. And then we have the unit itself. This whole thing is that squishy foam. Let me pull it out of here without getting all smudged up. It's got some heft to it, I'll tell you that. All right, I gotta take this out backwards to feed everything out through the hole, but it's stuck right now. Hang on. So we have 4 wires coming out of it, 1 for power, 1 for GPS, and 1 each for the front and rear cameras. And what the heck, why are there plugs in? Oh, okay, I got it. Since the cameras are optional, they give you these weatherproof plugs for the ends of the feeds. That's pretty cool. It just looked odd because it's literally an end of the camera cut off. You can see the 3 bare wires sticking out of the end there. Interesting concept of doing a plug, but I'll be removing these so I can install them. And I also have the GPS, so I've got 3 dummy plugs in there. Just know that's what they're for. Let's take a look at the main unit real quick here. So like I said, it's got some heft to it. I thought it was metal at first, but feeling it up close here, it is a nice hard ABS type plastic. We have a, let me tell you what, this is the first time I've seen this on any unit. This is the way to do it. No stupid, tiny little screws that you have to have a special screwdriver for that are so easily going to be lost. Look at this. A captured, flip up rubber cover that you can just push back in, and look, it's got a built-in handle. No tools required. This is flawless. You got your micro SD card, you got your USB socket. Sometimes that's just for maybe a firmware update, but sometimes it's for powering the unit. So if you want to do updates or pull things off, you can just plug in a battery bank and you don't have to run down your bike battery. It's not a guarantee though. Most of the time, if it has a camera especially, you're gonna have to run off the 12-volt bike system. But I'll give it a shot and we'll see if it works or if it mentions it in the manual. But I'm just in love with that feature. That is great. And it's on the bottom, of course, to help with water intrusion. We got a mic here, nothing on the sides, nothing on the top, nothing on the back. So no hard buttons on this model. And this is obviously just for mounting, and a tiny speaker here on the back side. Not that you have to use it, but I guess that's a requirement for CarPlay to have a speaker. And on the back, we've just got the power requirements, input 12 volts. So yeah, I guess that's not going to work with your battery on this particular model. Not unsurprising. It's got cameras and just your serial number. Okay. Next up in the bags, we've got pretty standard stuff for a bar mount. I'll have to rig something up to my bike because I don't have a bar, but I use ram mounts. And then we have very nice looking, oh, this is nice. Okay, so it looks like this is designed with a ball system. So this should be super easy to put on. We've got O-ringed metal ball mounts here. That is awesome. Never seen that before either. Definitely the way to do it. When you've got hard plastic to hard plastic, you can never get a hard cinch. But with O-rings, you're guaranteed it. Very nice. And then a short ram ball connector here, ram ball style, I should say, not a ram ball brand. Again, flawless. Ooh, is that metal? That is metal. Perfect. High quality components here. Not like the $50 ultra cheap budget jobs. We have a fuse, inline fuse on the power connector, and it is a 3-wire, so you've got positive and negative. You can either put these directly to the battery and then put this to a fused power drop, or just do what I do. Link down in the description to a fantastic $20 fuse block. Makes wiring in any accessories a breeze. And you just plug these in and go. And then your connector on the end. Oh, look at that. The signal is also fused. Not that you're typically going to need that, but hey, extra fuses are nice. What else do we have? Very, very large poster style instructions. So I'll glance through all of these. Pretty self-explanatory. Double-sided, very, very large, whole bunch of stuff. But I'll go through all this when I go out into the garage and put it all on the bike. Wow, that is a fingerprint magnet. Holy monkey bear. It's a high gloss plastic. It looks great, but oh. And then last but not least, the cameras. Now these, it says it's specifically for the N2. They're 1080p. Let me just look at the specs here real quick. 30 frames a second, 120 viewing angle, so very standard 1080p Sony Starvis Gen 1 Note, not Starvis 2 cameras. And these are the bullet style. I believe it was INNOVV that was using those weird cylinder styles. It may have been somebody else, but I've done a lot of these, so they're kind of running together. But the bullet styles are what you want. Very standard stuff, and I know I've reviewed these prior on another model, so I know what kind of good performance they have, especially at night. Don't forget to take off your protective film, and I'm sure we'll have the standard metal type mounts for these. 2 cables, short and long for front and rear. And yeah, here are the nice standard pinch metal mounts. So that won't be any issue. I've worked with those before. All right, let's get it on the bike. So you can see the camera mounts are a little bit more complex than, well, pretty much everyone else out there. You do have to assemble it, but it's extremely flexible and versatile, and you can stick these things just about anywhere because the mounts themselves are very contourable. So very cool and flexible. Just a note here on the tape. Every one of these that you're going to get, no matter who they're from, they're going to come with the standard 3M VHB, very high bond tape. And it's a heat activated foam. It actually has the adhesive impregnated in the foam. Now, most of the time with most surfaces, you can just peel it, stick it, press it for 10, 15 seconds, and you're golden. And it's going to be a very high, not permanent, but very high bond as designed. If you need extra performance out of it, take a hairdryer on high, stick this down to one side of the surface, heat it up, then stick your parts together, and then press for 30 seconds to a minute, and it will activate the adhesive and be a lot stronger. However, that still isn't good enough for all types of surfaces. My main rear camera that I use here, you can see where I have it stuck. This is the stock bike body, and these are obviously the taillights. The specific types of plastic here are different than a lot of other types, like up here, for example. And very high bond standard tape does not like to stick to these surfaces. It's just not made for it. There are different types of tapes for different types of even plastics. So what I have to use on this, and if you have this problem and you just can't get anything to stick, even after using high heat, this is the specific variation of the 3M VHB tape that you need. I'll put a link down to this below, but this is just for using on these types of plastic, and that is rock solid. Just a quick note here to possibly save you some grief. This threw me for a minute. I had to go back in and check the box. I'm just going through the instructions here on how to assemble the mounts, and I noticed that it's got 2K and 1080p. Now the 1080p were the old, I don't know, 7-8-year-old tube style cameras, which I'm not a fan of, that you've seen in past videos. And then the bullet style here, they're labeled 2K, but you saw in the box it said they're just 1080p. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I went and pulled out the box. They're using the same box for two different products. And if you look on the other side, these are actually 2K cameras. So if you accidentally get this and do what I did and just think, oh, they shipped me the wrong product. No, it's the right product. It's just a weird box. Now I don't see an up indicator on the camera body, so I'm assuming that the printing is going to be, but we'll find out when we actually plug it in and turn it on for the first time. Now the one thing I don't care for about the design of these is if this ever comes loose, this is what holds it rotationally to the actual pad. You have to take it off and reapply with new adhesive because the adhesive pad covers the mounting bolt. So this whole bag and this extension is only if you're mounting to a bar. If you're mounting to a ball, that's it. It just bolts directly on. And another real quick note, the ball adapter they give you, I'm actually not going to use it. I'm going to use my own. That's because they are reusing one for multiple size balls. This was originally designed for smaller size. This is a standard 1-inch ram ball, which is the same size on the unit. However, you have to extend this till there's 2 threads left on this to grab, to extend it out to fit 1 inch. And I don't like that. This is supposed to be much more tightly closed. This just isn't designed for a 1-inch ball. So I'm going to use my own, which are. That's how it's supposed to fit, nice and tight. Now, if this was a permanent install, I would be contouring this and snipping off the bits that don't matter, especially in the front. You can see it's very generous, so you can wrap around a lot of contoured areas. Super glossy display. All right, let's do the first boot. It's having a hard time focusing. There we go. Very nice looking splash screen. Little startup tone. Oh, very cool looking little dashboard display there as well. All right, we've got an LED here showing that the cameras are automatically recording as dash cams do. This is fresh out of the box. Let's go into first settings. Interesting that it does have the ability to do TPMS. They didn't send it to me for the review though. Let's go into settings. TPMS we don't have. Time. This will automatically set the first time that I connect to Carplay, so I'm not worried about that. DV, not sure what the okay, I was gonna say I don't know what D stands for. V is volume, display and volumes. There we go. They're all on one. A, I'm assuming is for automatic. So that kind of makes it brighter or not there when I hit the button. So off is manual. Not sure what it does. Usually if you put it in automatic, it will automatically change it, but it's not here. All right, interesting. It just dimmed automatically on me. The phone is not going to show exactly what it's doing here because it's too subtle. Now that's okay, what the heck is going on? It is not enabled. Now it's enabled. Hopefully you can see the difference there. But the screen itself jumped. See there, it just dimmed. Now I touched it and it went back bright. So it goes bright when I'm touching it to adjust and then goes back down dim. I'm not sure what the logic there is. And I'm not sure what touching this on and off is doing. It's not intuitive, I'll tell you that. But anyway, I want to see if the automatic works. So I'll leave it on and I like it maxed out, I know that. Sound source, phone or device. That's interesting. Maybe it can play music directly off a memory card, but I'm going to be using phone. Keypad sound, I don't like the sound when I tap stuff. Now, the whole screen just went dim. Let me adjust the exposure here so you can see what it looks like to me. Down, down, down. That's about what it looks like to my naked eye. It is nighttime out, but I'm in bright lights inside. So this, I'm assuming, is just the volume of the speaker built in. So we've got the sounds off, that's fine. I would like it just to stay on bright. So I disabled that and I went to manual bright. Okay, good. So now it's staying on bright. I see. So if automatic is on, it gives you the brightness while you're, yep, that's what it's doing. So it just went dim again. So if it's in automatic, it will go to full bright when you're touching the screen, but then goes right back to whatever it thinks is normal. So that's cool. I'm just going to leave it there in auto. So we've got different wallpapers. Actually, for this part of the video, I'm going to turn it all the way up because I need to see what I'm doing. It actually gets pretty dim here. I know you guys can't tell. So we've got black, we've got like a mountain road scene, an abstract, a lake scene. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Let's just go with that abstract. I don't remember what it looked like. That is not what I just picked, but that looks really badass. It's a little hard to read the stuff though. I like to be able to glance down at this and just see. So let me see what else there is real quick. Where was that? Display, wallpaper. See, I'm on the abstract and it thinks I'm on this. What happens if I click that? Still on that. What else can I do? Give me black. Okay, black is selected. Black works. I like that. I'll probably stick with that. I think that's what it had on boot up. Nope, let me go back here. Let me try this lake scene. Lake works. Let me try that abstract again. Not sure. It's probably just a firmware bug. Okay, abstract. That time it worked. All right, no idea. But if your wallpaper isn't selecting, just select a different one and go from there. Let me make sure black. Okay, so we're good there. Moving on. That was it in display, right? Okay, no more scrolls, no more nothing. It doesn't matter. Okay, done with that. Storage. I have no card in there yet, but let me go grab one. So nice having that. Card pops in, no tool needed. Works just with your fingertip. I rebooted again, and now, instead of a red light over here, we've got blue, and there's a red on here. So I'm assuming this is the I'm recording light. Maybe the red was an error, meaning it didn't have a card. GPS should just show information. Yep, it's working. I'm in the garage, so it's not going to show me any active satellites, but it will once I roll out. That's a factory reset, set to English, I'm sure, yes. And then last but not least, more, which will be setting to miles. And that would probably also set your PSI and bar in your TPMS, I'm assuming. And this shows your default password for connecting to the app. And rest reminder, that's if you go down the road for more than, I think, 30 minutes or so, it says take a rest. I always turn that off. And that is it for the settings. So not a whole lot in here. Now I need to connect to Carplay. And actually I want to first, whoa, Dashcams are flaking out. There's got to be a setting in here, probably for frame rate or something. Let's try the gear icon. Now this is default out of the box, so it's probably expecting the 1080p cams, not the 2K. So we just need to make sure that the information here is right. Let's try resolution first. Yeah, see, it's set to 1080. So let's go to 2K and confirm to give us a reboot. Should fix that. Into Dashcam again. There we go. Now we're working. So that's the front. Let me see where I have that. I just want to see if that INNOVV is actually the top thing. Can't tell. Can't see it. Let me check the back. So I'll aim that. Usually you swipe. There we go to the rear. Let me stick it on the center stand real quick. Whoa. All right, this is not ideal. It is using the wrong CarPlay resolution. It's a good size screen. It's a 6-inch screen. However, these icons are designed more for a actual car display. Look how tiny those icons are. That's a problem. Hitting this stuff with a glove is going to be impossible. Yeah. Forget about the side icons. You're not hitting those. Let's go into title, see how long things take. It's a little slow. Let's try our playlist. Wow, that is taking its time coming up. Yeah, I'm watching stuff draw in. Okay, here we go. Swipe. Wait. Real quick interjection here. I was intending right now to put out a supplemental video with the following information, but that would not do this video justice because most people are never going to watch it and realize my mistake. So I'm actually taking down the original video showing bad performance of the screen that ended up being on my end, and now I'm inserting this instead. Otherwise, the video is the same as before. Hey guys, this is a real quick supplemental video to the N2 review that I just put out, and I have to correct a mistake that I made. And thank you to the commenter on that review video for pointing me in the right direction. The fix wasn't the firmware, but trying the firmware for the fix led me to the solution. And that solution is I can't be filming and using CarPlay for top performance. This is something recent because I didn't run into this issue on any except one other, and it was a very recent review. So maybe it's an Apple update because I do have OS 26 on here. That's about the only change that I can think of. But it is enough where if the camera is rolling and I'm trying to use CarPlay, things are stuttery. So anyway, the commenter said he just bought an N2, but he updated the firmware before he installed it or did anything, and he didn't have any of those glitches. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll go online and check. There's only one version. So I flashed it anyway, and I think it was current anyway because it flashed like instantly, rebooted, and was done. I'm on the 1.4 version, the only version available. I booted it up and it was fine. I'm like, great. So I was in the middle of shooting a video to say I made a mistake, update the firmware because it fixed it. And I'm doing the video showing that it was fixed and it's back to glitchy. I'm like, oh, click. I'm filming. I paused or stopped the video recording and it went back to totally normal. So unfortunately, I can't show you with this phone because it's connected to CarPlay, but it's completely fluid, totally normal as long as I'm not recording. So there you go. My mistake. And now I know that I'm going to have to be recording with a second camera in order to test these from now on. Here we go. So click home and it'll get you back to the device itself. I just want to make sure, yeah, we're in miles per hour. Now this probably has its own menu if you connect TPMS that you can change bar and PSI, but there's nothing in the settings here right now at least. I wonder if that's a sweep speedometer. It kind of looks like that might be a needle. That'd be kind of neat if it is. Got a compass, the sweep, and a digital readout. I don't know if these do anything. Well, I'm glad I waited an extra day just to wrap up this review because look what came literally middle of the night. Like a freaking paperboy, guy just tossed it in the yard. A glass screen protector. I don't need it, but it's good to know that they have it. And more importantly, TPMS. Why it arrived in separate packages, I have no idea, but came third-party direct shipping. I don't even know what company it was. Anyway, now we can at least get these installed. They are the older general type, so nothing we haven't seen before. You're definitely going to want to run metal valve stems if you run these. And these do come with the security locking nuts, the tool to open the covers. They use a standard 1632 cell. And out of the box, barely over 3. It's slowly creeping up. Started at about 2.95. Let's go into settings, TPMS. All right, looks like they're paired. We do have data, it's just showing 0. Now how can we, there we go. Switch to PSI, and more importantly, we see the screen now. So yes, they are definitely working. Set to temperature, I want my high alarm much higher than that. Let's go up above 50 so we don't get any false positives. You can set this to whatever you like. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick one and see if it goes on the front or rear. So no reading change, just installing them, but sometimes they have to actually be in motion for them to actually turn on. So we'll probably see those change as soon as I actually get on the road. Next, I need to aim my dash cams and then we can get going. All right, let me just tilt these. So just as a definitive answer, no, there are no indications anywhere about what's actually top on these. The label does not correlate on the front or the rear. Slightly off here and totally off on the front. So just to verify, there's no special pairing instructions. Just install it on the bike and press pair. Anyway, it's probably just low batteries. Like I said, seen it before when they get delivered non-fresh. If it were fresh out of the package, it would be about 3.4 volts. Well, I've been rolling a while, and so far no reading on the TPMS. I'm going to pull over here and go through the actual pairing on the system. Perhaps it was just showing that data even though they were still unpaired. That's what I'm hoping. All right, my front one is within easy reach. So let's go into settings, TPMS. Pair front. Sometimes it requires you to have it off the tire, sometimes it wants it on. Pairing. Alright, so I'm gonna release pressure. And put it back on. Still not showing anything. Alright, sometimes you have to start with it without pressure, so let me take it off. Hit pairing again. Front, pair front. Put it on. If this doesn't work, I will continue and actually read the instructions when I get back. We all know how it works. I just want to make sure it does work. It's got nothing. Alright. Well, I'm either doing something wrong or there's something wrong with it. Probably the former. So we'll continue. It's also possible the batteries are too low that they're not functioning. Unfortunately, I don't have any brand new of those particular size cells. In a previous review, I ran out to the store and got a fresh pack just for the video, but now that I know low voltage can do that, I don't need to prove that twice. But if I get back and still can't get any readings, that is the most likely scenario. So we do have a functioning rotating compass. I like to see that. And I was right, that is a very cool, I just noticed, sweep speedometer. This is a really nice looking dashboard. You can glance right at it. The contrast is great. The black levels look very good. No complaints about this front screen. It's very nice. Even if you have a basic bike and you're just looking for a nice dashboard, this is a great option because it's a nice size too. Now, unfortunately, we do have an overcast day. It's been off and on cloudy all day, so I cannot tell you if the screen is going to overheat in direct sun, but it's been quite a while since we've seen a system do that. That was just the really old, cheap units. I want to buzz by my friend's house real quick. Yeehaw! So that's their view at the front. And they're right there. Very nice. So taking a look at the dash cam quality, we got the front here, should be absolutely stellar, especially in daylight. Take a look at the rear, see if it's comparable or if they've dropped the processing on it to make it a little bit less quality. And just to verify, the regular icons, totally fine to hit, but the left ones, it's about a 50-50 shot what you're going to actually hit with the gloves on because they're so small. 2 icons are fitting on 1 finger touch. But using it is actually very nice, just like a car. So I've got the display in auto mode and it is absolutely perfect. Completely balanced with my dashboard. It is precisely where it needs to be. So very happy to say the auto feature works very well because there is only a few models where it actually does, and they nailed it. So we're going to check out the dash cams here and see how the nighttime performance is. We've got a nice dark street here just with some street lamps. Check out the rear camera, see how it compares. I don't expect the rear on this to be as high quality as the front given the low power of the processor. I'll go out here and we'll just check out a brightly lit area and check out some glare from headlights. See how easily we can read plates. We're about 5 car lengths. 4, 3, 2, 1. I've got my headlights directly on him there, so see if we can make out the plate. All right, and that's going to wrap up this review. As always, check out twowheelobsession.com for a comparison chart of all these types of units, along with comms done just about everyone on the market as well. Stay tuned, lots of more stuff coming up as usual. We'll see you next time.